Right, cool. So knowing what our testosterone levels are doing is one of the most important things that we can know. One of the most important metrics. It affects how we feel, how strong we are, what our energy levels are like. You know, a lot of people who struggle with depression and anxiety can be hormone related, and it can be relating to low testosterone for various different reasons. And I wanted to, something I'm really, really passionate about, making sure that men, one, know what their testosterone levels are, and if they are low, what they can do in order to boost them, to raise them up so that they're feeling strong, healthy, they've got lots of vitality, you know, they're in good health and they're fighting fit. I think many people who don't look after themselves in various different ways, and I'll start to go into that shortly, um, need some kind of like guidance on what to do, what exercises to do, what foods to eat, what foods to avoid, what practices, habits, routines they can do in order to make sure that their testosterone levels are optimal. And then if none of that works, then there's obviously other alternative ways of getting high testosterone. But the first port of call for everybody should be making sure their diet is on track, making sure their stress levels are low, looking at what they're eating, doing any sort of detoxing, and doing some kind of exercise as well. So, so testosterone levels over the past 50 years have been declining rapidly. So we've lost. So the range of testosterone in the 70s and 80s used to be between, say, 300 and 1,000. It's actually 288 to 108. But what's happened over the last 50 years is that number's dropped to just below 200 to 741. So anyone that's getting tested for testosterone now is and that is within the range of 192 to 791 is they're said the doctor will say to them, that's fine, like you're within the normal ranges for your age group, but that, sorry, for your for a man, the range is coming down because they're taking a median of all the testosterone levels across all ages. So that's between the ages of 18 and 80, anyone that's ever been tested. And those numbers are coming down, like I said, drastically. We've lost about 30% in the last 50 years, and it's continuing to fall. So I'll go into why that is, but the main bulk of it is we're being bombarded by toxins. Like our body is hit by pesticides, by forever chemicals, BPA, synthetic like xenoestrogens, like synthetic estrogen. Because of the advent of the pill, that's now getting into our food supply, into our water system. So this means that when people are getting tested, the range is coming down and people are saying, well, your numbers say 400, that's fine. For me, I would prefer that I get tested on a regular basis and mine tends to hover around about 800. And I feel good at that 800 level, which if I was to go for a blood test, that would be outside the normal range. But for me, that's what I feel is good for me. So when I speak to clients and when I work with clients, anything below 500, I start to then say, okay, let's do something about this because you can build better muscle, you can be stronger, you can be healthier, you can feel better in the morning. You can feel stronger, healthier, and better when you wake up in the morning. It affects sleep. It affects literally every single aspect of a man's life and a woman's life as well. So so the first protocol for most of this is toxins. We're bombarded by so many toxins now. The first protocol for me with most people is water. Drinking tap water. Tap water contains so many synthetic estrogens and BPA chemicals that a body just can't handle it. And we struggle as healthy men, we will struggle to detox out those xenoestrogens coming from the pill, coming from microplastics that are getting into our water supply, that are getting into our food. So filtering our water with a reverse osmosis filter, which literally takes everything out, will start to change your life. It will give you more energy. It will obviously affect your testosterone levels, but overall, it's the most bang for buck. You can spend £300, 300 euros, and get a decent reverse osmosis filter fitted, which remineralizes the water, so you're getting really good quality water when you're drinking it. Next thing I've got on my list is pesticides. Who out of everybody eats organic?
Pretty recent. Last probably 4 months. I've just everything I bought's organic.
And how have you noticed any like shift in your energy levels, in your vitality, in your
Uh, yeah, I'd say I'm sleeping, but I mean I've given up alcohol as well, so there's a few things going on, but yeah, definitely filling in more energy.
yeah, basically, again, we're not consuming a ton more pesticides, which are smashing our microbiome. They're invading our liver. They're causing stress on our liver.
Yeah,
Checks the ottoman that's in.
Who's that? Nice one, Ender. Um, so eating organic is high on the list as well. The pesticides and the neurotoxins in pesticides have a like negative effect on our testosterone levels. So I've just seen that Luke said in the chat, there's a what's the best test to get? So there are a couple of different tests on Amazon for like £30 that you can do. It depends like how serious you are and what depth you want to go to with the testing. You can go for a full like optimum male blood test, which will cost you about 150 quid. Or you can get a £30 blood test on Amazon, which is pretty good. And it's got about 7 or 8 biomarkers. So if you're going to do it on a regular basis, like I'd say once a year, get a full spectrum, 57, 60 biomarkers blood test. Then every 6 months or every 3 months, however you are, however serious you are about testosterone, depending on where your levels are. If your levels are low, then you want to keep testing and see what changes you're making are having a positive impact and, pushing the numbers up. So I hope that answers your question, Luke. Yes, I do have a link to a good water filter. What I'll do is, so I've got notes. I've got a bit of software taking notes for me. So I will give you a link to the water filter at the end. Gersh. So the next one is, and there's an amazing little app that I found very recently called Yuke. Yucky, Yuke. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it gives you you can scan the barcode on it and it will give you a readout of how good for you this product is. So it's really good for cutting out phthalates, xenoestrogens, long-term forever chemicals, which affect our body's ability to produce natural hormones. So I've been using that and it's amazing. It's really, really quick. One of the things to note here, using shower gels that contain phthalates and EDTA, DAC10, and all these crazy, like unusual numbers, they're toxic chemicals that the body has to detox out. And the process that our body has to go through and the energy that is involved in detoxing that out is then not used for producing testosterone and hormones, and it just blocks the pathways. So this includes like spray deodorants with aluminium in them. Perfumes are really bad, like perfumes, some scented candles, plug in air fresheners. Those sorts of things are really, really toxic for the body on all levels, but it also affects testosterone as well. So the next one, and this for some people, like beer and alcohol is a big part of their lives. Alcohol, thank you, Dara, for posting that. I appreciate that, man. And Alistair, nice one. Beer and alcohol. So beer specifically contains or is made with hops most of the time, and hops actually raise estrogen levels. So even by drinking 1 or 2 pints, yeah, you can feel good at the time. It's actually messing with your hormones. If you are going to drink alcohol, then I would advise going for like white spirits, things that don't contain hops, that aren't fermented and are as clean and as clear as possible. Vodka, gin, things like that. Or just cut alcohol out. Like cutting down alcohol will positively affect your body fat percentage, your body's ability to process hormones. Again, if your liver is blocked up with processing alcohol and beer and things like that, then it's not going to be able to produce healthy, yeah. Real men drink whiskey. So what I'll do, Luke, I will send you a link to the one that I've used on Amazon that's really good. So I'll put that in the show notes at the end. The other big thing that I found out probably about 6 or 8 months ago that is really bad and is huge, like massively affects testosterone levels, is receipts. So like till receipts from the supermarket. Now, when anyone offers me a till receipt, I'm like, nah, keep it. Like, turn it back. There's no like reason that I need a till receipt. As soon as I touch it, the xenoestrogens are going into my skin, into my bloodstream, and especially if I'm carrying it around in my pocket, it gives off xenoestrogens, which negatively affect testosterone. It's just something we can, all of the things I'm suggesting here are like stuff that you can implement little by little over a long period of time. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I'm going to do all of this stuff at once. I'm going to make all these changes and then just forget about them. This is like stuff that you can implement gradually over a long period of time. Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm the same. Like every time I have, even, I don't know why, but even after a non-alcoholic drink, I had 2 non-alcoholic drinks a couple of weeks ago, and I woke up next morning and I felt like hungover. I think probably, whether it's the environment or the alcohol or the hops or whatever it was. Yeah, I think alcohol is linked to testosterone, and it's the nature of alcohol as well, Sam. And Paul, yeah, you don't like, what are you keeping the receipts for? You're keeping them for us, like, I do the same. Like, I'm the same. I've got receipts, like postal receipts, that I think I might need it one day, and I'm like, no, fucking chuck them out. Walking around next to my balls, like that's the worst place in the world to be keeping receipts, like next to your testicles, man. Exactly. Use Zero, scan it, and it's done. You don't even get the woman to hold it up for you, so I don't even need to have to touch it. So where were we? Yes, so receipts. So next one on the list of things that we need to, or that is good to eliminate, is soy sauce, tofu, linseeds, flax seeds, soy yogurt. All of these things raise estrogen levels in the body. I work with men and women, and when I put women on, when women are having hormonal problems, I put them on a hormone cleanse, and that hormone cleanse contains tofu, linseed, or flax seeds, soy yogurt, and a couple of other bits and pieces to overload their system with natural estrogen compounds, and then their body has a natural flush. So imagine if we're consuming soy sauce on a regular day, we're eating tofu, we're having flax seeds on everything. So flax seeds can be good in moderation, but if you're having them every single day and a lot, and you're drinking soy yogurt, soy milk, those sorts of things, it's going to have a massive negative impact on your testosterone levels, or raising. Exactly. These bloody vegans making everybody try and eat tofu. So the next one on the list is bottled water and tinned soups. So I think most of us know that most plastic containers contain BPA, which is a synthetic estrogen mimicker. It mimics estrogen and basically blocks up our hormonal system. So the more BPA we have in our environment, in our body, the less able our testosterone is to function optimally. And tinned soups specifically contain a shitload of BPA because they coat the inside of the tin can with BPA to stop the soup corroding the tin can. So stop eating tinned soups. Tell him not to be vegan, Alistair. I don't know.
And his mum's vegan. He's not. He'll eat chicken, but he's pretty worried about. He believes red meat's not good for him. So I'm not winning that argument at the moment. But he does eat meat, but he just avoids dairy. So that means he's eating soy yogurt and stuff like that, which is crap.
Which is not going to be good for his testosterone levels. Get him to do a testosterone test, and then get him to stop all the soy and start eating a red meat diet, and see his testosterone levels go like massively, double, triple digits. It makes such a difference to him. And sometimes that visceral, like going back to the testing side of things, sometimes that visceral, fuck, my testosterone is low. What's considered low is anything below 350. Below 350, doctors will prescribe exogenous, like injectable or cream that you can rub on your balls or wherever you want to rub it, for boosting your natural testosterone. Boosting your testosterone. So anyone that's on the low, or anyone that's around the 350 mark, needs to do something about it. I suggest anything lower than 500, really. But I mean, imagine if you went from 500 to 800 in the space of 2 months, just from doing a little bit of detoxification, cutting out alcohol, reducing the amount of receipts you carry around next to your bowls, and stop drinking tinned soups. That would literally change your life. So the next one is non-stick pans. So Teflon coated pans contain forever chemicals, which again block up and clog our regular hormonal function. So cutting that out. There's also, I went through a period of like completely cutting caffeine out of my diet, and I noticed that my testosterone levels went up. Caffeine has a positive impact temporarily on testosterone. It will push testosterone up straight afterwards, but then there's a crash afterwards because other hormones get involved. Cortisol gets involved to try and bring the adrenaline levels back down again, and then your hormones go a bit haywire. So if you are having a lot of caffeine and you're stimulated by caffeine a lot of the day, then that's going to negatively affect your testosterone levels. So if you are sensitive to caffeine, cut it out or cut it down, and just be aware that it's having a negative impact. Like, all of these things are just like suggestions. There's even with mycotoxin free caffeine, Jack, mycotoxin free coffee, it's still the caffeine that's affecting your adrenaline and cortisol, and obviously testosterone after that, because your hormones are just getting out of whack because of the caffeine. So again, just be aware that these things can, affect your testosterone levels. And then, so if you've been drinking tap water, you've been drinking, soy milk for the last 6 months, you've been using non-stick pans. Oh, what the best thing to do with non-stick pans is to go to ceramic or like ceramic coated or cast iron pans. They're a little bit more difficult to clean, like on a basic fundamental level, but the amount of you can actually raise your natural iron levels by using a cast iron pan as well and cooking things like red meat in them. So there's a bit of a double bonus on the cast iron pans, and they're not massively expensive, so it's something that you can easily switch out. So if you have been like consuming a lot of testosterone harming chemicals and forever chemicals and BPA and soy and stuff like that, what I recommend to clients is doing some sort of a detoxification protocol where they can take things like sulforaphane, which is the active chemical or the useful chemical in cruciferous vegetables. And that helps the body cleanse out any BPA, plastics, synthetic estrogens or xenoestrogens, things that can accumulate in our body. I also recommend taking calcium D-glucarate, which is found in grapefruits. So you could have a grapefruit per day or two, but taking calcium D-glucarate will also stop your testosterone converting into estrogen. Basically, it will lower your SHBG levels, so you've got more free testosterone. So calcium D-glucarate and sulforaphane together are like really a power team. I also recommend milk thistle and NAC as well for like a general kind of catch-all healthy vitality boost. On top of that, sleep. Next, I suppose next to water, like drinking tap water, sleep is the next biggest NDAF. How does what interact with statins? Calcium D-glucarate.
You know, when you're on statins, that you're told to avoid grapefruit.
Yes, you don't want to be taking, you don't want to be, so you can eat grape. Oh, I think from memory, I think you shouldn't eat or drink grapefruit juice around the time when you're taking your medication. I'm not sure whether it's the same for statins. I'll have to check that. But what happens is there's an active ingredient there's an enzyme in grapefruit which makes you get more out of the medication that you're taking. So it isn't a calcium D-glucarate, that's a separate component. So you can take calcium D-glucarate as a supplement with statins, but I wouldn't eat a grapefruit at the same time as taking statins. And I'll have to come back to you about how whether eating a grapefruit a day will affect your statins. I suspect not, but I don't know for sure. So yeah, the next thing, the number two most important thing, so for affecting your testosterone levels is sleep. We need 7 to 8 hours of good sleep per night in order for our hormones to reset, in order for testosterone to be released into the body. We need to make sure that our room is dark at night. If there's any light in the room, then that's going to affect the melatonin, which then affects your testosterone levels the next morning. So making sure your room is completely pitch black, there's ventilation in there, and you're getting 7 to 8 hours at least every single night is key for your testosterone levels. Like what I recommend for my clients is tracking their sleep, getting a Whoop, getting an Aura, or using some of the functions on an Apple Watch, to track your sleep, because then you can make changes to your sleep environment. You can go to bed earlier, you can go to bed later, and then start to see how that affects your sleep. Because all of these things are, for me, it's all about what the results are. Not, sometimes it can be how I feel, but most of the time it's like, actually, what are my testosterone levels telling me? After 6 months, I've been doing, I've been having good sleep. I've been tracking my sleep. I've been, making sure the room's dark. I've been, cutting out all these things. I've done a detox. I've done this stuff, and then retesting. That's where you'll see the natural shift upwards in your testosterone levels. So I've noticed on a personal level that ice baths temporarily massively boost testosterone levels as well. So saunas, like, this is from personal experience, saunas and ice baths together are really, really good. Basically, the saunas will sweat out any toxins, xenoestrogens, pesticides, crap that we're eating. And then the ice baths will boost our testosterone levels, increase our resilience. It helps with muscle definition and muscle recovery and stuff. So I've from personal experience, I found that ice baths temporarily boost testosterone levels. But I don't know whether that works for everybody. I haven't had full data back on that yet. So that's something I'm working with. So stress. The next thing, number 5, stress is very, very high on the list of things that affect testosterone levels. If we're stressed out, we have a highly stressed environment at work, high stress environment at home. Things aren't going our way, money's a problem, our relationships, we're struggling in a relationship or something is not going right, then that's going to negatively affect our testosterone levels, which is why things like meditation, taking time out, rest and relaxation, and starting to look at, we'll go into a little bit of HRV in a minute, but doing some kind of like mindfulness or meditation in the morning, grounding, walking in nature. And when I say HRV is heart rate variability. Does anyone who's got a tracker, who uses a Whoop, an Aura, or an Apple Watch to track their sleep, HRV, and things like that?
I've got a Garmin for him.
Does it track HRV?
I don't know, actually. I'll have to look.
Yeah, I the
I
Whoop.
do, I think.
It's very good.
Say that again. Oh,
The Whoop is very good.
yeah, really good.
The Garmin tracks your HRV as well. It's quite good.
Ah, cool.
Does check.
How you doing? So those that have got a tracker, do you track your HRV? Do you pay any attention to it?
Mostly sleep. I don't really track the HRV now, to be honest. I didn't really know what it was.
So HRV is the balance between the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. So basically how stressed you are versus how relaxed you are. How in go mode, fight and flight, versus I'm just gonna sit and watch telly for 5 minutes. I'm just gonna relax and take time out and sit there and not think of anything for 5 minutes. I mean, even sitting there watching telly can stimulate you a little bit. My HRV readings were taking a bit of a battering about 6 months ago, and I noticed that I wasn't actually taking any relaxation time for myself. I wasn't doing any meditation or mindfulness. Just taking 5 or 10 minutes in the morning to yourself with no distractions, no music, no sounds, nobody else in the room, and just sitting there. It's in silent meditation for 5 minutes is an absolute game changer. You'll get lots of thoughts come into your mind. You'll get lots of inspiration. You'll get lots of things flow into your mind that happened over the day before, and your mind starts to process and starts to, as it starts to process those thoughts, it just starts to calm down, because all that stuff's going on in the back of our mind. As soon as we give it space to just start to calm down, then our HRV will go up, and that directly affects testosterone levels. So a lower HRV score means higher estrogen, and a higher HRV score means higher testosterone. There's a direct correlation between the two.
So do you want it high? Is that what you're saying,
You want a
Spencer?
high HRV, yeah. The higher
And
the score,
what
the
is
better.
considered high and low?
It's very, very personal. It's very individual to you and your physiology, to your lifestyle, to what you're eating, to your circadian rhythms. So you're normally on a whoop, it will give you a range. And when you're within that normal range, it will give you a good recovery score. But when your HRV is low, it will give you a low recovery score.
Right, okay, yeah.
So the other thing that massively that I've noticed over the past few years that massively affects testosterone levels is what I call the metaphysical. So the aspects of how we show up as a man, how strong we are and how much we lead in our relationships, in our work environment, how much we take control, how much we lead with authority, how much we stand in our masculine power. That has a positive correlation to naturally raising your testosterone levels. So as soon as you start to, in your relationship, organize date night, make the phone calls, organize the taxis, get everything set up and organized so that you're leading with those aspects of the relationship. Suddenly she can drop into a feminine, you can lead like a man, and your testosterone levels will naturally go up. Sometimes if there's a bit of a fight going on between the woman trying to lead and the man not really leading, then that can affect like testosterone levels as well. So like that's what I call kind of like metaphysical, but it's do you want to be so like I hear people say happy wife, happy life. Like to me, that's absolute fucking bullshit. Like if you've got a happy wife, then she's not really happy. She thinks she is, but she's not. And if you're just trying to give her a happy life rather than leading the relationship and do the things that a man should do, then she might not be happy all of the time, but she'll fucking love it. She'll absolutely love it. So the other thing I wrote was don't be a pussy in your relationships. Lead like a fucking man. So next, macros. It is super important to make sure that our macros are on point and we roughly know what we're eating and how many carbohydrates, how much refined sugar we're eating per day, that we're eating good fats and our protein levels are high. So I say to my clients, whatever your height is in centimeters, so I'm 176, so I aim for 176 grams of protein a day, but that's because I work out a lot. So I was having a conversation with Dara a little while back, and you just said, I think you said it was 100 grams of protein per day is a good starting point for most people. And then depending on how active you are, how much working out you're doing, how much muscle you're trying to build, adapting it from there. Essentially, if our body fat is out of the range of above 15%, then that's going to negatively impact our body's ability to produce testosterone. So we want to optimally keep our body fat within like the 10 to 15% range so that we have optimal testosterone levels in our body. And that means cutting out refined sugar, not eating shitty, drinking fizzy drinks, eating good quality protein and good fats as well. Like removing seed oils. If you follow any of the health gurus on Instagram at the moment, there's a bit of an onslaught on seed oils because our body just can't process them. So like eating olive oil, coconut oil, good quality fats are important for testosterone. Essentially, testosterone is made from cholesterol. So we need to make sure that we're eating good quality oils in our diet so that our body can produce testosterone. Eggs Eggs are a great source of that as well. So next is exercises. Yep, avocado oil is amazing. So has anyone got any questions? Anyone got anything they would like to ask so far?
All good anyway for me, Spencer.
Yeah, all good. Everyone good? Everyone keeping up? Everyone's in and alert. Excellent. So exercises. Next one. So working out is essential. And if we're not working out, then obviously our testosterone levels are going to be low. I've found from personal experience that compound exercises, so swinging kettlebells around, deadlifts, dead raises, clean and jerk, those sorts of like exercises where you're using your whole body. Some functional fitness exercises are really good at that too. But specifically, I've noticed that since I've been building my legs, and I'm doing that through quad exercises, leg raises, squats, front squats I do, has had a massive impact on my testosterone levels. So the more exercise, the more weight I'm able to lift, and the more what's it called? Overloading that I can do over a period of time, the stronger my body's getting and the more testosterone my body's producing, and the better I feel. There's high intensity, like HIIT workout is also really good for boosting testosterone levels. So it depends, like some people prefer, gym work, some people prefer cardio, everybody's got their own thing. But HIIT is specifically good for raising testosterone. But the only caveat with that is don't do too much. If you do too much, then you're going to burn yourself out, and you need to work with your macros and make sure that if you are doing, big long HIIT workouts, you're getting enough carbohydrates, enough protein, and enough good fats in order to maintain your energy for those prolonged periods. I know some of you, obviously quite a few of you are, fit pros and run gyms and stuff like that. So, I'm sure you all know about macros and stuff like that, but HIIT workout is specifically good for boosting testosterone. So next is supplements. I personally am a massive fan of supplements. If anyone ever saw my kitchen, it's just like I've got supplements everywhere. I've got cupboards, I've got boxes, drawers, and I'm always trying new different supplements that, just to see what effect they have on me, not just for testosterone, but longevity as well. And I want to also mention the quality of supplements as well. Like when I speak to some clients, first off, they're like, oh yeah, I get my vitamins from Boots, or I go to Tesco's and get my vitamins from there. Please don't fucking waste your money on vitamins from Boots, Tesco's, or even Holland and Barrett. Like any own brand store-bought vitamins are going to be manufactured in China, full of toxins and heavy metals, and most of the time they're not actually, the dosages that they say on the package. There's very limited quality control on cheap supplements. So please, just like if you're better off just not taking any supplements rather than taking cheap supplements. But so I use maybe 4 or 5 different like brands of supplements, and I've found there's 8 specific, well, it's kind of 9 specific supplements that are really good for naturally boosting testosterone. So there's one called, which is lycopene, nettle root, and zinc. And if you search for it on Amazon, you can find it. It's about 18 quid. The combination of zinc and nettle root lowers SHBG and raises testosterone. It's an incredible supplement. I've been taking it for years. It's also important to make sure that you're getting all of your minerals, magnesium, boron, like I said, zinc. and things like to make sure that your iron levels are balanced and regular. Essentially, what I've come across recently is a combination of two supplements which basically cover the whole lot. So there's fat soluble vitamins and non-fat soluble vitamins. So fat soluble vitamins are A, D, E, and K, and you can buy these in a pre-formulated supplement that you can take just like 1 or 2 a day. Everybody needs vitamin D, and vitamin D directly, like if you don't have enough vitamin D, then you won't be producing testosterone. So making sure at the bare minimum you're taking a vitamin D supplement will change your life if you're not already taking it. But taking ADKE, I've noticed a massive bump in my energy levels just in I've been taking it for about 4 days now. So I've noticed a massive bump in my energy levels, and my energy levels have been consistently high all day long. Not that they were low, but it's like a new level of energy that I'm experiencing. And then also taking Shilajit, which is like a multi-mineral paste. It smells a little bit like Marmite or something like that, but it contains a lot of minerals, iodine, fulvic minerals, nutrients, vitamins, iron. Make sure you get a good quality filtered one that's clean, because some of them can contain heavy metals. It needs to be, don't buy the fucking cheapest, shittiest one you can find on Amazon. Make sure it's filtered, good quality, Shilajit. B6 also massively affects testosterone. Taking 50 milligrams a day will help, and magnesium as well. You can actually get, there's a supplement called I think it's called ZDE or ZED or something like that, which is zinc, B6 and magnesium together. And most people just take that, but it's got to be, again, make sure it's a good quality one. And then creatine. So taking creatine massively affects testosterone levels. Personally, I struggle with creatine from a digestive point of view, but I know that's just me personally. I know a lot of other people that are using creatine to boost the testosterone levels, and it's working really well. So including creatine before, creatine needs to be taken whilst you're working out and with a little bit of sugar. So like I mix mine with a cordial or something like that. I'm not a big fan of refined sugar, but you'll get more out of your creatine by mixing it with a little bit of sugar when you're consuming it. It just makes it more bioavailable. And play around with dosages. Everybody's different. It depends on the type of creatine as well. There's lots of different types of creatine. So I'll leave that to you. And then carnitine as well, which is an amino acid that will regulate, that will boost your testosterone levels. So, like I said earlier, I am super passionate about this, and it's something I've been working on for a long period of time. I picked up loads of information and tips. I was actually away with Pete in Turkey 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he was like, "Oh, let's get a pomegranate juice. Apparently, it boosts testosterone levels." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah. Like I've heard lots of different things like that before." And while we were out there, we did get it a couple of times, but I didn't feel anything. Normally, I can tell when there's a bit of a boost or something changes, and I was like, "Yeah, didn't really feel anything." So, but when I got back, I ordered some cold pressed pomegranate juice that was a really good quality one, and I've been drinking that since, and it's really good, really, really good. I highly recommend getting a good quality cold pressed pomegranate juice. I think it's called Pomegranate from they sell it in I know they sell it in Waitrose, but I don't know about any other supermarkets. Worth getting hold of, and it's just something that you can add into your life and drink. You know, you don't need to drink a whole bottle every day, but it's something you can, just have a swig of, or take it down the gym, or before you work out, or before you meet your missus, or whatever's going on. And the other thing is cigars. I'm not suggesting you start smoking cigars every day and start taking up a new habit that's, known to cause mouth cancer and things like that. But I have noticed that cigars boost testosterone levels. While I was away in Turkey, I had a couple of cigars. I woke up next morning, I was like, wow, something's different. I was like, super rock hard. And it was the cigar I had the night before. It had a positive effect the next morning. So I was like, okay, I know what to do next time I'm meeting a woman. So the last thing that I know, obviously I've spoken to some of you about this before, and it's something I've been practicing for the past nearly 4 years now, is semen retention, and what's also referred to as NoFap. I mean, we've just stepped into November, and there's an online thing called No Nut November, which is about not, when I read the description, it said not masturbating in November. But what I prefer to recommend is not ejaculating for 21 days. Every time we ejaculate, and I'm sure most of you have felt this, straight afterwards and for the next day or two, we can, well, I certainly do, feel tired, lethargic, listless, a little bit like something's not quite right. So 3 years ago, I started to practice semen retention, like non-ejaculation, while I was with my partner, and then I became single, and I was practicing it with partners that I had at the time, and it's changed my life. It's literally changed my life. I made the commitment, and although I have ejaculated a number of times in the past 3 years, it's below 20. It's very, very low. And I've seen my testosterone levels go like through the roof. And what tends to happen is, if I do a testosterone test straight after ejaculating, then it will be really, really fucking low. And then, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after that, it will be super high again. So what I wanna, nice one, Paul. So what I wanna kind of speak about is the distinction between ejaculating and orgasms. So you can have one without the other. You don't necessarily need to ejaculate to have an orgasm. So that's my, has anybody ever thought about or practiced semen retention, or ever done it before?
I have, Spencer, come across it I haven't done the TNT courses, but certainly came across it through some of the guys who'd done a lot of Tantra.
Mm.
And I've done the 21-day challenge. It definitely, you feel more energy.
Yeah. It's a 3,000-year-old spiritual practice. When you speak to, like, when you read some of the books on Taoism and Buddhism, and I'm just trying to find a snippet that I took. So they have a recommended schedule of when it's good to ejaculate based on your age. So everybody knows that, when we're younger, we can sort of, masturbate and ejaculate and have sex sort of 30 times in a day or whatever it is. How did you get on, Sam? So when you say, yeah, yeah, and I mean, part of the practice is to learn to be able to be comfortable with like containing and holding that sexual energy. Because most of the time we feel this sexual energy and we're just like straight away, I want to wank, I want to ejaculate, I want to fuck, I want to, just release this energy. But by holding on to it, it gives us more masculine power. It raises our testosterone levels. It gives us more strength, more able to lead, gives us more creativity, and gives us a whole new like lease of energy that we can then put into business, work, relationships, all those sorts of things. It's just that we're not taught how to contain and hold on to that energy. And sometimes it can be the practice of, practicing for 1 week and then seeing how you get on and noticing how you feel and noticing, what it is around that situation or that circumstance that you're feeling like you need to release it straight away. So yeah, it's an ongoing practice that I'm still learning about and still trialing, still experiencing. So how we're pretty much at the end. I have notes. Oh yeah. Also, so I'll be running an online training course starting on the 20th of November for 8 weeks, which is all about how to raise your testosterone levels naturally. So it's an 8-week process. I run through each of the different stages and processes. We do it in a group format. We do testing at the beginning and then testing at the end to see what changes you've made, how things have changed. We analyze the results as well. So we'll analyze the your testosterone results to give you feedback on, if there's anything specific that you might need to do as well as the standard program. So if anyone's interested, let me know. I can give you a link for that. But yeah, how did everybody find that? Was there anything like what was everyone's biggest takeaway?
Yeah, it was interesting, Spence. Thanks for that. The hit thing kind of surprised me in that I've been aware of exercise for training, but I always thought more along the lines of strength training. And what I've read is heavier. So I jokingly, whenever anybody asks me how to get your testosterone up, I just says have lots of sex and do lots of deadlifts.
Well, I mean, sex can be high intensity exercise sometimes, can't it? So
Depends on the girl, right?
definitely, and the situation. Yeah, man. Yeah. Honestly, like we are the first, like the generation, the younger generation. Sam, I'm talking to you, and your comment. The younger generation that are coming through at the moment are bombarded from before birth. So the parents that are giving birth now are being bombarded by xenoestrogens. It's in their system, it's in their organs, it's in their brains, it's in the semen. So they're finding microplastics and xenoestrogens in men's semen, which is obviously then impregnating women, which means that children being born now and the generation that are coming through at the moment are going to have even lower testosterone levels. So cutting out and doing detoxification is the most important thing that we can do for our longevity, but also for our testosterone levels as well. We're literally bombarded. The filtration system, the water, tap water goes through a very basic filtration system. They don't have the technology to be able to filter enough water fast enough and remove hormones from water before it goes back out again. So all the synthetic hormones that women are urinating into the water supply into the, sewers, which then get into the water supply, they're not being filtered out. So we're like consuming all of those synthetic estrogens. So making sure that we filter our water is like key. So yeah. Anyone else have any big takeaways?
No, I think water was probably the biggest lever for me. I've only just started filtering it all. Actually, I used to have a ceramic filter at my old house. Malta is that we had an osmosis filter because everything's desalinated.
Yes.
But I haven't got one here. So that's probably the big lever to shift.
Yeah, so important. Awesome. Well,
Cool.
if that, yes, I will put thank you, Sam. I appreciate that, man. I'll put the link to my course in the group. I will also, thank you, Don. Appreciate it, man. I will also put the links to the bits and pieces that I suggested, and I will give you, if anyone wants the read AI links and notes, like summary, I'll get that over to you as well. I'll put it in the school group and the main group as well. Awakened Man. Awesome. Unless anyone's got anything else, I will say goodbye and chat to you all soon.
Yeah.
Nice one. Thanks, Alistair. Thank you, Endaf, Dom. Thank you, Sam, Gersh, and Matt.